We can talk a little bit about what's going on in Norwood. Norwood experienced a lot of mold, like my son.
Well, we can talk about all that too, but I think we should be live. If someone
You
wants
inspired me. I had to get
to
a glass of wine.
talk show.
Glass of wine with some ice. I got water too.
Now,
So
did you get
we're
the
all-
wine?
I got water.
Did you get the wine out of a box or a bottle?
It was kind of both. No, it was a bottle, but it wasn't. It was it's the big bottles.
Yeah.
The table
Mine-
stuff.
Mine is a triple shot of Michigan water.
All right.
Ah.
How close to Flint are you?
I know, right?
I
No,
guess
this-
still didn't solve that.
They're still working on that. Unfortunately, it's pretty harsh stuff. But yeah, the water up here, this is filtered tap water. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was worried, bro.
So we got to be live,
but
right?
I-
We're on.
529.
I'm looking. It's supposed.
Live
I
on
think I
custom.
set it for 5:29, so it'll probably go live any second.
All right.
I'm not seeing it just yet. Oh, the Rock and Talk Show's live. I just got notified.
Yeah.
Live, everybody.
Hi.
Live.
We are backstage pre-show. We're pre-show. This is
Whoa.
backstage pre-show. We're not quite live yet, even though we are
Pre-game.
live.
Batting practice.
It's interesting that every record is live. You don't have to call your record live because you're alive when you made it. I mean, it's live. You know, there's like living people making a record.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, nowadays I'm not so sure about that, but they're starting to tour holograms.
So I
That's
think,
the way- that's
guys,
the way
if
to
we're
do it.
ready, are we missing Derek? Are we not going to have Derek today?
I don't know where Derek is.
I haven't seen him.
You want to send him a text message and
Yeah.
maybe we'll. Well, we can talk about all that too, but I think we should be live.
We are live.
Inspired me.
All right,
Live.
turn those off, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the show. Here we go. Quiet on the set. And welcome to the Rock.
Hey, we're back.
Hello, everybody. How we doing out there?
We're good.
Boss man.
Yeah.
We've got the one and only Scotty Page.
Big hands.
Yes,
Big
no,
hands.
Supertramp, Pink Floyd, Toto. We got Norwood Fisher over here in the far corner from Fishbone and Trulio. We got Kenny Olson, the Twisted Brown Trucker Band, Hendrix Experience, Kid Rock, Stephen Perkins, Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyros, and Banyan, and a lot more. And of course, co-producer Sheila Conlin over here. How we all doing?
We're good.
Good.
Another 2 weeks, guys. Time just flies when we're having fun, huh?
Yeah, it's so strange. I can never tell the difference between Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, where they're just days, right? It's all the same day. All
Yeah,
the same
so
day.
Being a musician that likes to gig 3 times a week, it felt like every night was a Friday during those days. Now it feels
Right.
like every night's a Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
true.
we first of all, once again, here we are. Ooh, wait, maybe do we have Derek? Let's see. We were
Derek's
missing. Here we go.
coming
Let's bring in the kid. The
The
kid,
kid, ladies and gentlemen.
The kid.
Disco
the
Kid.
play.
There
There
he
he is.
is.
There he is. The
Hey.
kid. The
I'm
art
so happy he's here.
and Mr.
Hey.
Derek Day down there.
Keeps
Uh,
us
how
good.
we doing? We got to thank last week we had who did we have? Was last week Kenny and no, who was
We
our
had- it
guest
was 2 weeks
last
ago.
week? Huh?
2 weeks
2
ago,
weeks
who was
ago.
it?
2 weeks ago. It was John Phillips and
And Oz Motley.
and Will Dog.
Will
Ozzo
Dog.
Motley.
That's right.
Yes. Oh my
There
God,
we
we're
go.
so organized today.
Man, oh man, it's been one of those days.
It's hard.
We
It's
got
hard to
good. We
remember.
got good. We got some killer guests today. One of my all-time favorites, my hero, one of my favorite people to hang with today.
I mean,
right?
we have 2 rock and roll legends with us today, so that's very exciting. But if you're out there watching, start a watch party. Let's spread the word. We did launch our new Rock and Talk Show Facebook page and our Rock and Talk Show Instagram, and we're just sort of starting to upload content. So check those out and follow us. And Derek being late really threw me off. I couldn't figure out who was our guests last week.
Yep,
Well,
there we go.
let me just add our things. It's Instagram at the Rock and Talk Show, Facebook, the Rock and Talk Show. We have a YouTube channel too, the Rock and Talk Show on YouTube. So we're getting there. We're growing, getting bigger. So
Yeah.
check
Well,
us
I
out
don't-
and like.
And I got my Leland microphone. I got my
I'll-
Leland microphone right there.
I wanted
Yeah.
to say last 2 weeks ago, I missed the show and I wasn't able to peep in and pipe in on the guests, but I did a Lollapalooza stream with a band I hadn't played with in 25 years, Porno for Pyros,
Wow.
and a band that plays once in a while, Jane's Addiction. So I missed it, but I was there in spirit. But just know I was making rock and roll music and being creative while you guys were doing it too. We're on the same plane, parallel world,
Yeah.
Well, we flew in missing man formation without you. We literally
I know.
mentioned that you
You
were out doing some cool shit.
Yeah. Well, the Porno for Pyros thing
Yeah.
was great. We had the great Mike Watt on bass, and we did it in on a beautiful. It was like a backyard in Laurel Canyon overlooking the valley, and we just played acoustically for about an hour. And then the Jane's Addiction thing was a 180. We went to a place called Third Encore in North Hollywood, and we set up with 3 or 4 days with cameras and just incredible production. And we did both. We went from the very easy acoustic show to the more rockin' electric show. But it was a great honor to be part of Lollapalooza again.
Yeah, that Lollapalooza show. So how many, there was like 100+ bands on that thing. And it was like the whole weekend. I mean, I couldn't believe all the talent on that. How did it all work? I mean, it was just too much to watch for me, but
Yeah, absolutely.
how was it? How did it turn out? How was it all together?
It was a fantastic ride because you had all types of music right next to each other, like a real Lollapalooza. Most bands got 2 or 3 songs. Someone like Paul McCartney took maybe 4 or 5 songs. It's okay. And some of the footage was just recorded, like Porno for Pyros and Jane's Addiction did a week prior. Some of the footage was, Cypress Hill in 2017 in Brazil, and they gathered stuff. And then there was these really cool little bumpers with interviews, and even Michelle Obama talking about getting out there and voting, and some really good people got involved, and some great art was shown. So it was it was virtually wonderful. It really was.
And how was it playing with James again?
I love it, man. It's like just like playing with Think. It heals my soul.
All
to play
right.
music,
I was so bummed because I had it in my calendar, and when you looked at the little flyer, the flyer said 6:30 p.m. and I didn't realize that was East Coast time.
Yeah.
And so I completely blew it, planned my whole day to be back to watch it, and I didn't get to see it.
It wasn't. It was even more confusing than that. It was in Chicago, so it was Central Time.
Yeah, so
Yeah, exactly.
regardless, I blew it and I didn't get to see it, and I was so bummed because literally I planned my day around it. We went down to the Redwoods. I was up in Humboldt County, and we drove down to the Redwoods, and we were like, gotta be back by this time. We gotta leave. I was all set. I was going to be blasting it through the stereo, and
Well, you can still find it. It's out there now. And the good thing is they only showed 2 songs from each of my bands, but each band did about 8 songs at the session. So we've got other footage, and it's not going to go to waste. It will come to life soon.
Yo! Perkins, I filmed you. I filmed you. Oh, sorry. I filmed the whole thing, but I also missed a bunch of stuff. I missed all my buddies. There you are.
That's Porno.
I screen recorded you guys. So freaking awesome. It was legendary for me. I was like, yeah.
Hey,
You know,
Perkins, can you tell all your Jane's fans to like us right now? We're talking about
yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, come and join the party, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah. I just see.
I know that we're looking for 18 to 30-year-olds, but come on, James, guys, come on.
I just saw Steve Lukather joined us too. I see join because on my thing. Brother Luke, you got to come on with us. We've got a guest that you know today very well.
Yeah, get Lucas on right now.
Yeah, we'll
With
pull
us.
Luke in when we
Lukather
bring in
can
our
join
guest.
us today if he wants. Tell him
Yeah.
to pop on in.
Oh, God.
We'll allow him in. I
And our
mean,
buddy
get him
Mark
in, get him
Andre's
in.
on here all the way from Canada.
Mark Andre.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy? We're getting excited because we're getting closer. Think is going to Canada to do 9 shows in this immersive theater coming up in December, which is going to be fantastic. We've been working with the production crew on this. It's going to be an insane show.
Canada
So guys that build out-
is Canada letting Americans in?
As of right now.
Well, not yet. Not until after August 31st.
There we go. Okay. But anyway, we're excited. So I see Mark Andre. God, everybody's joining in here.
That's great.
I got to go Luke Daddy. We
So
got to get Luke
Kenny-
Daddy on with our next guest because I'm telling you, those two together
Yeah, I want to get some. Yes,
is crazy.
Some Luke and Lee's stories would be great.
Yep.
Kenny, how you doing, Kenny? Where are you still back east? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm still up in Michigan right now, missing you guys, but you know, I'm up here on the Great Lakes, you know, golfing and you know, enjoying the sunsets. So, you know, I'm healthy right now.
Living the
That's
life
most
of a
important.
rock star, right? There you go.
Well,
Golf.
but I'm getting ready to get back out there with you guys. I miss everybody. It's you know, I'm not used to not being out playing every week. This is just I'm out of my element. It's crazy. It's just
And how you
know.
doing, Norwood?
You're surviving.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Like I'm actually moving towards a live stream event on the 21st, which I've not done enough to pull together yet. But truly, oh, this crazy is at Third Encore.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm going to do a memorial show for my friend Jeff Pates, who is the truly of the space is super fan and historian. You know, he died recently of COVID-19, and you know, he became a really truly amazing friend to me, and to everybody in the band that he could touch. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna honor all of the people who had ever came through Trulio that passed.
That's
away,
awesome.
that are deceased now. So
Yeah, I mean, I knew Jeff. Jeff was a really cool dude. Like, I got to meet him a few times through you, and he was just a super cool dude. It's just such a sad, tragic thing. So, you know, here's for Jeff. I'll have a little sip for Jeff.
I'll toast to Jeff.
Yeah.
It was an honor to get to know Jeff, and what an amazing person he literally was.
yeah, so we'll celebrate his life, and you know, he's one of them dudes that, like, you know, he was hilarious, and he was giving. Like, he, you know, like he had this amazing thing where he just sent cakes. Birthday cakes for me and different people in Trulio, like the 30th anniversary Trulio shows. Like, there were two cakes, you know, like,
Yeah.
Awesome.
and provided food for the whole band. It's like 20 people like got fed by this guy,
That's
Wow.
awesome.
you know.
Wow.
And he knew, and he just knew everybody and everything about Trulio, and just always a nice guy. But it's just really, it's sad. It's really sad.
Is there a date for the stream?
August 21st.
Great.
Cool.
Cool.
Exciting.
And
And, you know, other exciting news from the earth. Basically, we're opening up after 3.5 years. We're opening up our Long Beach store. It's looking like maybe August 14th. And we're looking at trying to maybe, you know, have our official opening August 21st. But we got all our sign-offs from the city of Long Beach, and it's super exciting because this has been a long, arduous, crazy challenging, one of the hardest, most difficult things I've ever been involved in my life is bringing this thing to life. So it's super exciting. It's been 3.5 years. It feels like 23 and a half.
And that's crazy. He raised 2 kids, and this is even harder than that, you know?
Oh, that was easy. Are you kidding me? That was a piece of cake. You just give them water and food and you're good.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, you know, the last 3 months, I've tried to stay kind of clean in head and space, but to get stress relief from CBD or THC is a blessing, and good luck to you guys, because that's a good thing for people now. They need a little stress relief.
You know, I got to tell you, you know, we had Papas and Barclays on just recently, right? We had the guy came with us, and I've got this arthritis issue that's been inflammation. I've been taking that straight CBD. It's not THC. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I mean, it is completely, my joints feel so much better.
The Papa and Barkley CBD.
Yeah, it's worked really, really well. I mean, I'm now a fan. I mean, 3 times a day I'm pounding that stuff because I can't believe it. I'm like mobile again. It's like crazy.
Awesome. I agree with you. Me too. I have the arthritis in my hand. The arthritis.
It is.
I love that. It is. But thank you so much to Adam, because it's absolutely amazing. The best product I've ever tried. It works. Yeah. It works.
Yeah, no, Papa and Barkley are one of our, great vendors. We love working with them. I've been to their facility up in Humboldt County. It's quite impressive. Like when you look at what they're doing and the level that they're doing it and the quality control, and it's it's great to hear. I tell people, I don't know if this is going to work for you. Try it and you tell me if it works. And I mean, it's astonishing to me how many people say the same thing that you're saying, Scott and Sheila, and my mom and dad basically use it and love it. And anyways, thanks to Papa and Barkley. We love you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll say I was one of the first users when they first came out, and grown so much. I mean, I loved it from the beginning. Now even better. So absolutely great.
You know, there's the Papa of the bass. His first name is Lee, and he looks like a wizard.
Yeah.
Well, where is that guy?
I was just going to say, we have 2 very, very special guests tonight, and I'm super stoked to bring them in right now. Our 2 guests, we have the one and only, the legendary Leland Sklar and Kenny Lee Lewis. Now, if you're not familiar with these guys, there they are. Kenny Lee is a little twisted. There he is.
Hey.
Leland.
Hi, kids.
What's up?
Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
Dude, we're so happy to have you. Thanks so much, both you guys. Kenny Lee, I got to tell you, I've had some of the best music experiences playing with both of these guys.
There you go.
It's always.
Can you see me?
It's always lived. Hey, Kenny.
You're putting a smile on my face. Hi, Lee.
There you go. I like it. So for those of you that don't know, we have 2 legendary bass players here and guitar player. Kenny plays bass and guitar. Lee plays bass and probably, I think, piano.
He just plays around.
I don't know if you still do, but Kenny with the Steve Miller Band for what, 120 years? How long you been with Steve Miller
I think it's
Band?
39 years this year.
That's it?
39.
Only 39. No gold watch yet.
That's amazing. And Lee, you played with virtually everybody in the world. James Taylor.
It's a desperate medium.
Yeah, exactly.
Desperate.
And I mean, Lee, how many records have you been on? Do you actually know? Is that possible to count?
No, it's somewhere around 2,600.
Just
wow.
Well, the good thing is the union is counting for pensions, so you're covered.
Yeah.
And the pension's going down like in flames.
Yeah, I know, but we just got the letter that said that they're going to extend it beyond 2021 now. So they're not going to reduce.
Yeah.
How you guys holding up during this crazy, unprecedented time? And I mean, it's just kind of unbelievable. Like, Lee, what are you doing?
Well, it's absolutely shocking and horrifying, because I had like a full book through February of next year, which completely, like everybody else, went away because most of it was in Europe and the East Coast and Japan. But I've actually ended up, it's like the busiest I've been and the most creative I've been. By accident, I started a YouTube channel, which has gone completely crazy. And I've started a clubhouse, and I'm doing live streaming, and we're doing stuff with our band. We're still in the middle of Denny Tedesco's making a documentary movie about us, and we're doing lots of things. And my yard has never looked better, and my dogs have never had so many walks.
I heard you got banned from Facebook for like 30 days.
Well, I usually get banned on an average of 150 days a year, and I got kicked off of Twitter also.
Oh, Twitter took you down too.
Twitter threw me off too.
I've been checking you out on YouTube. When you raising hell, I'm with you, bro.
Oh man, it's so good to see you, man. It's been ages.
Right?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm underachieving. I haven't been banned from anything lately. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to try a little bit harder.
I think
I've got some serious trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been banned too.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah, it is.
Kenny Lee, what have you been doing? How you surviving this COVID?
Well, I did some live streaming, and I made a little money for my guys in the band on that. But and then everybody jumped on, and then the next thing you know, the donation stream just got diluted, and it was like there wasn't as much money coming in as the first few ones we did, and so we had to just sort of back off that. I was actually using plexiglass, dividers, and I was trying to do everything to be compliant, blah blah blah. So that was fun, and I had a good time. And then I just said fuck it, and I went on a ride for like about 2.5 weeks up into my cabin, and did a couple gigs up there with some people, because up there they don't even believe COVID exists up in Montana. It's pretty funny. So I went up there, did a couple gigs, and paid for my trip. That was fun. Came back, got a test before I even got near my wife. I, thank God, tested.
She was fine.
Negative.
I was with her.
Yeah.
It was the happiest moment of her life.
But I think I'm going to do what Lee's doing. Lee's like my mentor, man. I'm going to start, trying to reinvent myself. And of course, Scotty's been doing this for years. He knows this is nothing new. He was prepared better than any of us probably for this, because he knows this is where it's at, and it's like, I'm old school. I'm kind of not very tech worthy. So I got to hire a kid to come over and show me how to run all this stuff. And, just trying to go online and be live, going through an interface and going through OBS and all that stuff, and Restream. That was a big deal, man. And like mentally, like this drained me. So that's why I took off for a while and went fishing instead. But I think I'm going to do what Lee's doing. I think that's a great idea.
It's one of these things that you can either lay down to this, but it looks like it's going to go on for quite a while, and so I think it's important just to try to feel viable in a not very viable world right now, and so you just look for anything that can make you keep your chops up, keep your mind together. And eventually, there'll never be what we thought was normal, but there'll be some new, parameters to be dealing with, and just want to be ready for it when it hits.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting. It's kind of just forcing everybody into like, okay, new business models, right? Yeah. You just have to do it. So it's, I personally, there's no question. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I have no idea what's going to be the total fallout from shutting down and stuff. But just from an entrepreneurial point of view, I got to say that, this is probably the most entrepreneurial, freaking exciting time for an entrepreneur I've ever seen in my entire life. There's so many problems that need to be, be solved now, right? We're at a totally different game. And, we're working on what we're working on with Living Live, our whole concept of live streaming, a live show, BC, or after COVID, AC after COVID, tied to a streaming. But what's cool about streaming now is we got the two-way capability, so we can bring people to us, and then tying that to the fact that now I got delivery to the home, so I can start creating experiences now that can be in the home. So I'm excited about the new opportunities for new business and new ways to play and kind of do things. The thing we were just talking about, the thing we did a show where we set up in a sound stage, had all these video walls behind us, but then what we did is we brought in about like 15 80-inch monitors around the band, and we had all the audience come into us, and it was a trip, right, guys? It was really kind of cool to have everybody there. So there's this two-way thing starts changing the parameters, and I think there's some real models. We can start thinking about the people that are on the screen. That's kind of fan and stream people. So there's business that can be done if you want to be part of that. Then the after shows. So it's actually very interesting that what can come out of this. Obviously it's nothing like getting together and playing live, though.
Right, you're right, Scott. You're right, Scott. This is a time when entrepreneurs, creatives, everybody has to reinvent. And when you get, the downtime or the devastating times, this is when everyone pulls together and you create. And you have that mind, as I know, and won't stop. But it's true. It's like we'll get out of it, and it'll go on because we have to. We have to get there.
Dude, I mean, the bottom line is everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Otherwise, wouldn't happen. And if we lament on what was, it's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's an illusion. I can't change that.
So then you're over it.
So it's move forward, right? We just got to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Isaac Newton can explain how gravity works during the plague, something is going to get explained during this plague,
Exactly.
But what was cool about that performance that Scott was talking about was we were playing together as a live band, but I did feel like we had an audience that I play 3 or 4 nights a week, like all of us, and I lost a little piece of my life and my identity not getting that, and that gave it to me. Not just playing in a studio with the band, but having people watch us and react and seeing their smiles.
I was going to say, it's interesting because people's faces are right there. It's like everybody's in the front row.
Yeah.
Right? Because the guy in Italy's picture's as big as the guy that's in North Hollywood, right? I mean, everybody's the same. It was
it looks like the front row of a baseball game.
Yeah, exactly. It was tricky.
Just like the word, the word music, it comes from the word muse, and you need those people sometimes to, feed off. And that did, it was pretty cool, unique experience, I have to say.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a bunch more of those. We're going to be launching a whole bunch of shows coming up.
That's great.
There is an echo every now and then, which is kind of a new sort of technological sort of issue we're having. But hey,
it's like a Pink Floyd record.
That's my Mooger Fooger.
So Leland, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask Leland a question because, I've been seeing some of the posts that you've been having out. So the section, for those that you don't know, is probably one of the most recorded freaking sections of Groups of Player. And you guys have been out. You're redoing it. You're coming back to what's this documentary? What is that about?
What it is the section was Russ Kunkel, Danny Korchmar, myself, and Craig Durgee back in the 70s when we were playing with James Taylor and Jackson Brown and did our little rock fusion albums. The thing that happened now is Cooch got a record deal with a Japanese label a few years ago, and he called me and he called Russ and he called Waddy, and he had been working with Steve Postel and said, can you guys do my record? And we did, and it came out as Danny Korchmar and the Immediate Family, and it got legs immediately. And so we're a different incarnation. It's not the section at all.
Okay.
But basically, I've known Steve Postel about 15 years now, but the other guys, we've been looking at each other on stage for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And the thing is we still dig each other and we're moving forward. We've just finished a new album that is unbelievable. It's one of the best things I've ever been involved with.
Wow.
And it'll be out at the beginning of next year. It was supposed to be out. We've got an EP coming out. We just had a single out and we have an EP coming out in October. Then the album will be coming out at the beginning of the year, hopefully with the documentary that Denny Tedesco's making about us. But it's just, it was one of these things that everything was going great. And then this started. And all of a sudden, you got the skids on, but you're figuring out how to maneuver through this. And I think that's the thing that's imperative for everybody is to figure out how to maneuver through this, because it's like you're like a great runner who all of a sudden your lane is full of molasses, you know, and you're trying to run and you're just stuck to the ground. So you got to just, it's tough. It's weird. I've never, you know, like any of us, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And, but I'm just trying to keep a positive spin. And the best thing for me has been doing this YouTube channel. I post a song I've worked on every day, and I play the track, but I play the bass part on top of it so people can hear everything. And I tell all the backstories about everything. And I got, you know, and in like 2 months, I ended up with 127,000 people on my channel.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
so,
I'm one of them.
yeah, and it's just great because I'm making all kinds of cool relationships, and people are sending me pictures of the family eating dinner, watching the videos, and you know, it's there's tragedy going on out there, and it's going to get really bad real soon because the government is doing nothing to help the people who are now running out of money, that are going to be thrown out of their homes. And we're going to see shit hitting the fan if somebody doesn't get off their butt and quit posturing and actually do something. Of course, I'm going to be kicked off of Facebook again now, but you know, I'm just
don't get us kicked off and we're fine.
No, you guys are the reason that this does exist. No, but you know, just you know, like, look, everybody, like with Scott, man. I mean, we've been through so much over the years, and you've been one of the forefront guys when it comes to technology. And I look at cats like you as you're really going to move things along, I think, because you understand this better than most people do.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, no, you have
so fast, you know. But thank you very much, Lee. That's great.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
look who's got the professional mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Leland mic, right?
I
With
rest
the
my
tuna
case.
can.
Yeah, we have our Leland mics.
I
We're all Leland
I
guys.
just don't have the interface to connect it to my computer.
Right, we all do. Thank
Wait.
you, Fluid. We're just waiting for our RK rigs.
I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, I
Kenny Lee,
Yes, sir.
39 years with one band is a long time. 50 years with the same guys is a long time too. But talk like, how did that start? How did you connect and get dialed in with the Steve Miller Band?
Well, the story's reflected on my website. If you want to go kennyleelewis.com, it's on there with a lot more detail. But in a nutshell, I was just talking about this with Diane the other day. I had a gig that I got down in the ghetto at a Chitlin Circuit club that was called the Caribbean Lounge. And it was in a band called Tony Davis Sunrise Service. I was playing bass, and James Jamerson Sr. came in. He heard me and he said, "You playing your butt off. You need to stay in this band. You playing great. Just don't go up above the 5th fret." And I went like, okay. And so he kind of mentored me, and it was a great experience, but the money was not very good. But there was a guy that saw me playing down there by the name of, but he was named Jimmy Jules. And Jimmy Jules hired me for a session up in the valley.
Time out for one sec.
I don't remember Fidelity recorded.
Kenny, time out for one sec. I just want to make sure everyone's got their volume off, because there's some kind of feedback and echo.
I muted mine as soon as
I have to have it up to hear what you're asking.
So not your volume on this phone, but if you're watching it or listening to it on another.
No, I'm just on my iPhone. I'm in the parking lot.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't know what the echo is, but maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go.
Is it echoing?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where should I start again?
Yeah,
it's not pretty. Who cares?
So you played the Chitlin Circuit.
So I played the Chitlin Circuit. I met a guy named Jimmy Jules. He hired me for a session up in the valley, and I played at this place called Fidelity Recorders, which was on Magnolia and Whitsett or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was owned by Artie Ripp, and it was like really funky. And the engineer was from New York, and it was a fun R&B session. But the engineer, a guy by the name of Joel Soifer, really enjoyed my bass playing. He liked my bass playing, and he said, "Hey, would you like to come back and do some more sessions here and there?" And I said, "Sure." And that led into me doing more sessions up there. And I met this drummer that was doing a lot of work up there with a guy named Gerard McMahon named Gary Malaber. Gary Malaber had played on Moondance. He'd played on a bunch of Eddie Money records, all the Steve Miller hits. You know, I think he played with Jackson and a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got into this band with him called Gerard McMahon and Kid Lightning. And then that led into us doing a couple records with this guy, Gerard. And then Steve Miller comes out of nowhere because he'd been kind of like on ice. He was kind of going through divorce and, you know, going on 12-step. And he was kind of, you know, he couldn't write. He was on a block. So he needed material. And he called Gary up one day, and we were working on our own material at the time, writing songs. And basically, he was dry. He needed some songs. We sent him our 8-song demo that we had been working on in Gary's garage. And he liked all 8 of them, and he wanted the masters too. So he actually sent over 24-track machine over to Gary's garage. We transferred the 80-8 8-track masters to 24. He took those into Capitol, started putting his vocals on there. He loved all 8 of them. So we were out of songs. I mean, our band was gone now because we had no material. So that became the Abracadabra album, and that's how I met Steve. And he loved my bass playing and guitar playing on all the demos. He said, "Why don't you just join the band, come out and tour with us?" So I didn't have to audition or anything. I was just a songwriter, producer that came into the band in the back door. So that's how that happened.
What year was that, Kenny?
That was 1981.
You're on mute.
Yeah, the guitar solo on Abracadabra and all the sound effects. What was the origin of all that? I know the lyrics, but how did it sonically?
Well, Steve was trying to come up with, hold on, just like my phone's
You were doing so well, and then you decided to fix it.
Yeah. What happened was
I
went over to Capitol one day, and Steve was working on the solo. He'd been working on it for about 2 or 3 days. And he was trying to do like a Carlos Santana kind of real, you know, he was trying to use some melodic minor, you know, inflections, like with major 7ths and, you know, weird, you know, flatted 6th. And he wasn't getting what he wanted. And then he asked me if I wanted to play the solo. I said, no, you're Stevie Guitar Miller, you do the solo. And so we kept messing around with it. And his, at that time, girlfriend walked into the control room. Her name was Kim Smith. And she was dressed up to the nines, looked really good, 80s, you know, kind of, she'd been down to Melrose. And she got her hair all spiked up, got a rubber skirt on and some high boots, you know, with some studs. And
that was
me. And she walked into the control room, and he did a cat call on the guitar because he didn't have a mic out there. His only mic was on his amp. So he went on his guitar when she walked into the control room. And we all looked at each other, the engineer, David Cole, and Gary and I, and we went like, you know, that's the shit. You go, you need to do some of that stuff. Let's forget this big long solo and let's just do a bunch of wang bar things or, you know, cat calls, and we'll just put them on a half track. We'll just kind of fly them in, and we made this solo just out of sort of like sound effects that he did that day. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, I'm 50. I'll be 53 in September. So, you know, I was just in junior high or high school, and I remember hearing that song, and it was catchy, and it was production was great. But the solo was like, it was stellar. It was a stellar solo, man. That's cool.
Well, it was a lot of different solos that were in different stereo proximities of you know, stereo image. And then we had a whip, of course. Cool. The whip really made it. And the whip was done on a Prophet 5. And the Prophet 5 had a wind sound of the cutting wind. That was one preset. And then the other preset was which was the crack of the whip. And so poor Byron had to do one preset up and one preset down every time we want the whip to be in there. So the whip, along with the guitar solo, was kind of cool.
Whip it good. Whip it good.
How do you do it on the road now with all that stuff?
Yeah. So that was how the solo came about.
Right.
Thanks, man. That's great information. I've always wanted to know. That's cool.
That's a great story. Speaking of Gary Malabar, this is just a random question out in the blue. Do any of you know keyboard player Howard Wales? No? He did a crazy solo project with Jerry Garcia back in the day called Hooterall. And it's just an improv crazy record. He played with a lot of people. I met Howard 25, 30 years ago. We became very, very close. And very, very interesting guy. If anybody saw the movie As Good as It Gets, that's Howard Wales right there. Howard, if you're watching, I love you. You're a great, great guy. And anyways, we did a show up in Humboldt County with Gary Malabar and Howard and a few other people. And if you know Howard, then we would have more stuff to talk about. But if you don't, then we're going to sort of move on, move right on.
We love the movie. The movie was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the Jack Nicholson movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think I
Howard
came
Wills
in.
is this. I'll tell you the quick story. Howard Wills was very close, but he definitely had like the OCD. Like he, you know, and one day, and Lee, we're very close. I know you're super close with Little Feat and those guys. Those guys are like my extended family. And Howard asked me one day, Little Feat was playing in the Bay Area. Now, Howard Wills would play the Hammond B3 and he would put his elbow into it and his body. And he was just like, it was crazy watching this guy play the B3. And he asked me if I would ask Bill Payne if he could sit in on Dixie Chicken. And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll ask Bill. So Bill's like, sure, of course, why not? Yeah, great. So jokingly, the night before the show, I said to Howard Wills, I said, just do me a favor, don't fuck up Bill's Hammond B3. And I meant it like jokingly, like I'm like, don't break his keyboard. He's like, actually got a little upset and mad thinking that I thought that he would break Bill's keyboard. I'm like, dude, I was just joking. Anyway, skip ahead to the next night. He comes out. He does this insane solo with Dixie Chicken. I mean, it was just off the charts. It was amazing. After the song, he gets up, and I'm standing in a spot where I have a perfect view of the keys of Bill's Hammond B3. And I see Mark, Bill's keyboard tech, reach over from behind the key and pull 2 keys off the board after Howard's solo. And it looked like someone got their teeth knocked out from the audience because the keyboard was now missing 2 keys, thanks to Howard Wells, who ended up breaking the keyboard.
Oh, geez.
God.
Anyways, Lee, how like
You know what? Do we have some questions from our?
Oh, bring it on.
Please, questions.
No, we have viewers. So I have, what is it here? Oh, I can't read her name. Shania, it looks like, I'm sorry, wants to know, where did Leland grow up?
Well, it's debatable whether I even did, but
exactly.
Where did you grow up?
Now, I was born in Milwaukee, but my family moved to San Fernando Valley when I was 5. So I'm a Valley kid. I went to Birmingham and the whole 9 yards. So I'm a Valley guy.
Frank Zappa's favorite community.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was something growing up in the Valley in the 50s. Man, it was a whole other world.
I gotta ask you a question, Lee. Are you still collecting?
Not so much. I'm really trying to unload at this. You know, it's like, because I'm 73 now, and you just kind of you ride that wave all those years, and then suddenly you just got this house full of shit, and you're just going, this is insane. Somebody's going to have to deal with this at some point. So I got involved with Techno Empire, and I've unloaded like tons of bass gear. I've got everything I need for the rest of my career sitting in my garage right now. If anybody wants to come steal it, and that way I could end my career immediately.
No, don't do that.
Where's your garage?
It's next to my house.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Lee, when I went to Lee's house for the first time, I have to say it was the wildest thing, because after I went there, I ended up turning on a TV show, and all of a sudden I'm turning by and I see Lee, and I'm going, what is it? It was called The Incurable Collector.
Yeah. John
and
Laurent,
I got to tell you, when I went to Lee's house, I had no idea. Virtually every square inch of that house, that's a big house too, is got collectibles. I mean, like cabinets filled from ceiling to rooms filled with all this stuff laid out. A room that is like all, like I would say, kind of Hawaiian and tropical collectibles. And then I remember you had all those, downstairs you go into the basement, and it has all these animatronics, a giant peanut, the peanut guy, and Christmas.
Do you have a collection of Russian nesting dolls?
I have a few of those. But the thing is, I always tell people, I said, I'm like an episode of Hoarders, but with cool shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I was like, that's a big house, and I'm telling you, every square inch of that house was a collectible.
It's pretty nuts.
I mean, and you've been in that house how long? It's out in a
Since
beautiful
80.
area.
I moved in 80.
1980. Did the
Yeah.
property go up in value since 1980?
No, it all dropped as soon as I moved in.
And do you still have your car?
Yeah, but it's been sitting in the garage. This is all perfect timing. I had to I got a 1923 T bucket with 1,000 horsepower small block in it.
Damn.
And the radiator needed to be recored, and there's only one place we could find that could record, and they're up in Paso Robles. And I sent
That's where I am right now.
yeah, it's but what you have to do with these with the T radiators, you have to unsolder the entire thing, put the new core in, then put it. And the minute it arrived, they had to close the shop because of the pandemic. So
Wow.
they've just reopened, but I just haven't got time. I've got it, but it's sitting.
Did you
right
say
now.
1,000 horsepower?
Yeah, it's a small block Chevy, but with twin turbos and dual throttle body fuel injectors and nitrous and.
Oh, dude,
Damn.
it's the deal. It's the real shit. It
Yeah.
is the freaking
Damn.
hot rod like you can't even believe.
Valley time, man. I grew up at the drag races and everything. The smell of nitro and burning rubber is like the greatest aphrodisiac to me. Of course, I'm usually alone when I have that aphrodisiac.
What about the movie American Graffiti? Was it real? Was it close to what was happening?
The weirdest thing, it's like when we're on the road and people start dropping names. That's when people like drop their keys, but George Lucas is a really good friend, and George was over at dinner one night. We talked about American Graffiti, and the parallel of growing up in the Valley was so close to that movie. I mean, he was Bakersfield. But
did you cruise Van Nuys Boulevard a lot?
Yeah, we all cruised, man.
Of course.
Everybody, I couldn't really afford cars, so I was the guy that went with the guys from Encino who could afford the cool cars, and I did all the help with work on them. So.
Yeah, well, I had the cool car. I had a Volkswagen. Dude,
Yeah.
I was freaking hot.
I don't know how old I was, but I remember I was pretty young when that movie came out, and I saw it in the theaters, and I remember it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
It was such a great, at that time, movie. I'd never seen anything like it, and it was awesome. What a great movie.
I want to hear from Jack. What are you up to, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to. Hey, Derek is our young blood. Derek, he's the guitar player and singer. This guy is younger than any car we've ever driven. I mean, this guy.
My beard was old.
Including my 2014 BMW.
So Derek,
Smile.
Derek, tell us your favorite songs from Leland and Kenny. What do you know from these guys?
Well, Leland, I first experienced you. I have a DVD of Toto live in Paris, 2007. And that was the first time I heard of you. You just like, they said it on stage, like they were just like, yeah, Leland just learned this song, like the whole set like last night or something. And I was like,
I had 5 days to learn the show because Mike Picaro was so ill at that point that he couldn't go on.
Yeah, by the way, Jeff, it was yesterday. It was Jeff's day that he passed. Like 20, how many years ago was that? 20 something years ago.
I think it was 26 or something.
Yeah, boy, Jeff, we all played with Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. I remember we did Rock and Roll Kitchen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember that? Both
Still
these
the
guys did Rock and Roll.
Best theme song of any show ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was funny because, we're actually with our new thing, we're kind of reinventing a little bit of that in our new show that we're getting ready to launch.
You should.
Cooking, rocking, laughing, a whole thing, right? And Kenny down there had the fishing musician too for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm still going to do the fishing part of my YouTube channel. I mean, and also cooking. I'm going to do both. I'm going to have kind of like sidelines.
Are you a fly fisherman? Are you a bait caster, ocean? What kind of fishing do you do, Kenny?
I do everything, but primarily mostly fly and spin. But I did go out recently, right out here in Morro Bay, and I caught a salmon about a month ago, right out here on Morro.
Nice.
Wow.
But anyway, but the cooking part is really getting to be a big deal for my Facebook personal page. I mean, everybody's really going, when are you going to make a cookbook? When are you going to do a show? Because everybody loves my cooking recipes.
That's great. That's great.
What do you cook?
You should, I come from all the cooking shows on TV. Gordon Ramsay, Bobby Flay, Emerald, all of that stuff. And yes, if you have a passion for it and you have great recipes, you should definitely do it. It's hard, but you can do it. You can do it.
Yep.
What do you cook, Kenny? What's your like your top 2 things that you like to cook?
Probably Thai food, and then maybe, I mean, I'm trying to get away from eating a lot of meat nowadays. So I'm trying to get more into like, Indian, vegetarian. But I mean, I make it all. I even make sushi and stuff. I mean, we're at a sushi bar right now. Diane's in there, scarf, and we were up in the olive oil area of Paso Robles here, and I had to come down here to get a connection because there was no cell connection, just so I could come on this show. But we're you name it, man. I mean, I do all kinds of really interesting soul food stuff, collard greens. I mean, I do like barbecue. I do sweet potato pies that would make you switch from pumpkin in a minute.
So
And all kinds of stuff.
I'm getting hungry.
I don't have anything in particular.
When's dinner? I'm getting hungry.
But I just have I don't know. I just had a flair for it. It was kind of like, I don't know. I play bass and guitar equally well. And so I cook just as well as I play bass and guitar. I have that kind of thing.
It's funny. I didn't know that when we did Rock and Roll Kitchen, which was a trip, right? Well, that was fun. We remember we took a door, a big giant door, and we cut it into the shape of a Stratocaster and made a beautiful, turned it into a stove.
I have that picture in my phone.
You remember but that was crazy. We had Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys sang on there. We had Ginger Baker, played drums. I'll never forget. I'll never forget Ginger Baker. We're sitting there and we had, the way we had it set up is we had the console in the middle of the room and the band was all around it in the stove in the kitchen. And Ginger Baker was over there where we're playing this song and he's smoking a cigarette and he flicks his cigarette and it goes and it lands in Wick, the engineer's hair. It's in his hair. And he's sitting there, Wick is bopping, man. This is like cool. He's like going, his hair's starting to smoke. I mean, Ginger Baker, he was an interesting guy, right?
Yeah,
what was it like to work?
He didn't have to try to make trouble. He just flicked the cigarette and it makes trouble. That's Ginger Baker.
But the part was we're in my studio that has carpets. And he's flicking smokes just like he's smoking.
The documentary on him, Beware Mr. Baker.
Amazing documentary. It's actually,
I can't even tell you, that is my friend Jay Bulger who did that documentary.
Oh wow,
he's freaking brilliant, brilliant filmmaker, and that was the best thing ever for this guy.
I just worked with Jay and Wayne Kramer about 6 months ago.
Yes, remember I told you? Yes, because oh my God, Jay is definitely in my life. A lot of other movies.
That documentary gave me a totally different. It really made me sad, actually, to watch it. He
depicted his life. He brought, what do they say? The Rosebud came to life. I mean, he told the true story of. He came to life. It was amazing.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Now, Lee.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever played with Perkins? What?
I don't think so.
We need to make that happen.
That's got to happen.
I don't want to rush into this, so I think we need to pace ourselves.
Trust me, if you did, you'd remember. I promise.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to. And to me, any chance to play with new cats is always the best to me.
Yeah. So you like playing with Perk. He's got a great feel.
Lee, when was the last time you cut your beard? How long's that been growing? How long does it take to get there? That's the coolest beard.
No, I cut it all the time because it usually gets caught in my strap locks and stuff when I'm trying to
I thought you were going to say your zipper.
When I went to high school, it was incredibly repressive, even though it was public school. They wouldn't let girls wear patent leather shoes because they thought boys could see reflections under their skirts and grooming guards and all this. And that was just in the valley. But as soon as I got my high school diploma, I said, screw this, and stopped shaving and cutting my hair. And that was 65. So
right now you have a nice glow. It's like highlighted. You have a halo.
Well, it's really deceiving then.
I had a friend who had dreadlocks down to the floor, and I asked him one day, when did you start growing that? And he picked up the end of his dreadlock and he's like, well, the Beatles came to America right about there. And that was a great response. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Like the rings of a tree.
Yes.
Or taking a core sample in the Antarctic.
Exactly.
I was an usher at the Hollywood Bowl when the Beatles played there.
Oh,
No.
I remember
Wow.
that story. I
Yeah,
love that story.
yeah,
Wow.
Usher?
yeah. I was
That's
an usher.
insane.
I had applied the year before to be an usher, and they didn't need anybody. But and then I wanted to see the Beatles, so I sent away for tickets, and they were sold out, and I couldn't see them. I was like so bummed, and I got a phone call from the Hollywood Bowl saying, we have a special concert coming up. We need extra ushers. I got paid $5 to go see the Beatles.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
That's a great story.
Did they fire
Ah.
you right after because you did such a shitty job of ushering?
Oh no! I actually, the thing that was cool was I was on for the whole season, so I got to see the Ravi Shankar India Festival,
Oh, wow.
Lovin'
Oh, wow.
Spoonful, Jimi Hendrix, Vanilla Fudge, Mamas and Papas, the Beach Boys. I mean, I was there for the whole season.
wow.
You're the only guy I know that's got paid to watch that all.
Yeah, when I first met McCartney, I told him about that, and he thought it was great. He just thought, oh, how cool.
You were a good employee. You did well. You did
Yeah,
well. They
yeah.
kept you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, work as an usher here, and you might become Lee Sklar. You know, it's
You
possible.
never know. You just never know. At least it's a real gig.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Shankar is one of our buddies. We've all worked with Shankar.
Yep.
Oh
That's
well,
right.
that's El Shankar.
Not
violin.
Ravi Shankar.
Oh, no, Robbie. Oh, sorry. Oh, wrong one. Okay, sorry.
Wrong.
It's okay.
Shankar.
Any
Hey,
Shankar in a storm.
I remember seeing Ravi Shankar at Royce Hall, UCLA, and the first 10 minutes he stopped and everyone clapped. He goes, "I was just tuning." That was
Yeah,
that wasn't a raga. Let's
Yeah.
start the first raga. And he
I
counted
remember
it.
that.
I spent the whole evening trying to find one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I went to that UCLA show. I remember that.
Yeah.
I
I
saw
thought
Ravi
you looked
Shankar.
familiar.
I saw Ravi up in Humboldt at Humboldt State University, and he talked about, okay, this is in 17, and it'd be like, okay, what the
Right, the signature, the time signature.
yeah. It was just crazy. And then he would
Yeah.
describe the sort of structure of the song.
Yeah.
And he would play it, and it was just, it's just next level. Like
Yeah.
unbelievable stuff.
It went back in the day when we had the section together. One of the best things was we spent 2 months on the road opening for Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
And like the first couple of weeks of that was trying to find one with
Yeah.
those guys. I mean, it's the most unbelievable level of musicianship watching those guys play. But the best thing was we were playing the Mississippi River Festival, and Cobham was in the middle of a solo, and he broke his right bass drum pedal. So he doubled up on his left hand and his left foot and reached down and changed his pedal in the middle of his solo. And I looked over at Russ Kunkel, and Russ just broke his sticks over his knee and said, "I'm out of here." It was the most unbelievable thing to see. This
That's
kid.
awesome.
Yeah, I
And
saw it.
and that's what got me to do Spectrum, was knowing Billy on that tour. That's when he called me and asked me if I'd do Spectrum with him.
That's
Wow.
amazing. I saw a film of Billy keeping a quarter on a wall with a double stroke roll.
What?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
insane.
Keeping a coin on a wall with a drum roll. I mean, come on.
That's great.
So we're getting down to the last couple minutes of the show. We typically end the show with somebody doing something musical. What are we doing tonight? Perk, are you gonna do a little?
I'll take it.
We have no idea how this is gonna sound, but hopefully the drums don't just cut it out. But
Right, but before we go, let's have Kenny and Leland say, your Instagram, your social media, anything you want to do a shout out to, and tune in 2 weeks to the Rock and Talk Show.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Leland,
Kenny. Go ahead, Kenny.
Oh, I was gonna say you go first.
No,
You're
you go first.
age before beauty.
and the typical Leland response. There it is, right there.
There it is,
That's the
famous.
typical- That's it.
I was just working on the new. I'm doing a book. It should be out by Christmas. The coffee table book of this.
How many of those pictures do you have?
I have about 11,000.
So for people that don't know, that are saying he's been shooting. He's got virtually everybody, every artist, everybody flipping off everybody in photographs. I mean, who are some of the people you got, real quick?
Well, I've got Jack Black.
But everybody.
Everybody.
No,
So
I've
I
got-
can't wait for
I've
that.
got everybody. You got Jack. I mean, no, the thing is, there's musicians, but there's also just the people on the streets, and we've got this thing broken down. A lot of athletes like Bernie Williams from the Yankees, and
He's
all
a
these.
pretty good guitar player.
Yeah, I did his albums. He's
Yeah.
great. He's really good.
So
Yeah,
when
that
is
ought to
it
be
coming
great.
out?
I mean, I can't wait for that. That's a coffee table book I will definitely
I'll
buy.
keep
When
you
is it coming
posted.
out? When's it coming out?
Well, I'm hoping for by the end of the year, maybe for Christmas. But I was just with the guy who I'm doing it with, who does art books, and it's really looking pretty amazing.
Oh man.
It's really going to be a fun book. And
Awesome.
Great.
Not Instrument Head. That guy or no?
huh?
Not Michael Weintraub. No.
I did that book.
That's a cool book. All right.
Kenny,
So
what do you
Kenny.
got, Kenny?
Well, did he give his address? He was supposed to give
Oh,
out.
that's right. Your address, your social media. Sorry.
For me, I'm on Facebook, but I'm usually thrown off, so that's useless. I'm on Instagram, but I don't like Instagram, so I'd hardly go there. And then I was kicked off of Twitter. So if anybody wants to see me, go to YouTube and just come to my channel on YouTube. That's where I'm spending most of my time.
And is it just Lee Sklar or Leland Sklar? How is it?
Leland Sklar channel?
The Leland Sklar channel. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
full name Leland. Yeah.
Thank you, Kenny. That was good.
And then we got, go ahead, Kenny.
I was just gonna say, I'm just the opposite. I was old school. I've been using Facebook forever, and I have 4 pages on there. There's Kenny Lee Lewis personal, and then there's Kenny Lee Lewis artist, and then there's the Barflies with a Z, and then there's the Friends with a Z. Those are my other 2 bands. And then I'm going to do like what Leland's doing. I'm starting up my YouTube channel. So anybody wants to start going to my site on YouTube, I'm going to start building that up starting this week, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So that would be Kenny Lee Lewis YouTube channel.
Yay.
And then you can also go to stevemillerband.com to look at stuff that's going on with that. And then, of course, my home website is kennyleelewis.com. So
Right.
I dig the assortment of people you got on this page. This is really cool. You're all really great, man.
It's fun. With Leland, both you guys, we want to have you guys come back.
It's an honor
Because there's so many
I want to
stories.
say hi to Kenny. Hi, Kenny. How you doing?
What's up, Kenny?
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, my brother.
And my bass
Been a
playing
long
buddy
time.
over there. The poor guy, I'm trying to teach him Steve Miller Band songs live while we're on stage. Thanks for learning all those on bass, my brother.
Oh, that's right.
That's
We
what
were
we
at
do.
NAMM. Yeah, the NAMM show together. And
Yeah.
Derek did
Vegas.
that one
In
too.
Vegas.
We were up in Vegas.
And the Vegas show. I don't remember much. About that show though. So
Yeah, I'll tell you, if you want a real experience to go to NAMM and walk with Leland Sklar. First of all, you don't walk more than 1 foot before you're stopped. You're like, everybody knows you there. Everybody.
Yeah.
Leland, you're quite the legend. I'm telling you.
Big time.
I've used your playing as a reference and many times in the studio when making records where I'm like, it needs to sound as close to like this as possible because this is how it's supposed to sound. So thank you for all the wonderful things you've done.
Man,
Yeah, buddy. Both you guys.
Proud to be part of the
Both
community.
both
man.
you guys. And of course, Kenny with a cool name. We got the penetration. Double penetration.
Double penetration.
Wow, that'd be a good duo album. We should do an
Perkins,
album together.
Perkins, take us. Let's see what you got. Give us some, Perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he's not
The
done.
littlest drum kit in the world.
I'm just tuning. I'm just
That was
tuning.
awesome, dude. That sounded great. You should keep going.
Yeah.
You should give us a little more. That sounded great.
That
was
sounded like George of the Jungle stuff.
That's it.
Eric plays 3 times as long as that.
Yeah. Well, it was a
Good
wonderful time to talk to everybody, and I
Big
can't
time.
wait for the next show.
I know.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Perkins,
It
good to see
it
you.
goes by too fast.
Stay
Yep.
safe.
Thank you guys so much for doing the show with us today. We'd love to have you guys back again because I mean,
Anytime.
an hour goes quick.
Anytime.
All right,
We
cool.
really
We'll definitely-
appreciate
I'm just
appreciate
busy
you guys.
that day.
Don't go away just yet. We're gonna close out the show with our regular closing caption here. So
Oh yeah.
bear with us. Here we go.
This is
the,
Banyan. This is Mike Watt in
Here we
Perkins.
go.
There you go.
Nice. Plastic by design.
Great.
Banyan.
And
Yeah.
see, that's us. Yay.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
Thanks again from the earth
Yay.
at fromtheearth.com. Thanks to Leland Sklar, Kenny Lee Lewis.
Yes.
See y'all in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.